How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Critically Incorrect. I'm your host, Onliner Brandon, joined today by Charlie, if you wanted to say hi.
Hello.
And yeah, a lot of cool releases this week. Looking forward to talking about them. And yeah, I guess we'll first just always start off the podcast with if you have any questions, topic suggestions, anything of the sort, you can leave it, of course, in the YouTube comment section down below or click the link to make our way to our Discord server. But yeah, with that being said, Charlie, since the last week we talked, what have you been playing?
Yeah, so my main thing this week, as I did say last week, it was probably going to be, has been Call of Duty Vanguard. In fact, I don't know if I've actually played anything else this week. I have been at work most of the week, other than the weekend, and I was just playing COD. So I think that has been it. I've played a lot of the game. I'm like Prestige 1, level 20 something. I think like 25 or something. So yeah, I've played a lot of the game. I haven't beaten the campaign. I think I'm about halfway through it, maybe a bit further. It's not too long. I just haven't really focused on it. My main thing has been multiplayer. I did try out the zombies, but personally, I don't really like it, which is a shame because I love zombies. But I think it's kind of a miss in my eyes. It feels very like rushed and lackluster. So hopefully, with some updates and stuff, they can really improve the zombies mode. But for right now, it feels pretty bare bones. So that one was a bit disappointing. But the multiplayer, I'm having a ton of fun with. I'm enjoying it a lot more than I did Cold War at launch, and I enjoyed Cold War for what it was, but in my eyes, this is like on par with Modern Warfare multiplayer. Like it's super fun, super polished. The guns all feel pretty good. There are a few guns that are pretty powerful, but overall, like most of the guns are pretty viable once you level them up, which is nice. And yeah, I'm just having a lot of fun leveling stuff up. To be honest, I'm definitely going to be playing more. Although obviously Battlefield early access starts tomorrow for us when we're recording, so I'll probably be playing quite a bit of that over the next week, but I'm definitely going to be playing a lot of cards still.
Nice, nice. Besides that, for me, let's see. I also ended up picking up Vanguard last week. I think I was saying I was on the edge, and I had some decent free time last weekend, so I decided to pick it up and try it out. Picked it up on PC, which has been like night and day compared to like my past experience on console. I don't know why, I always just tended to buy Call of Duty on PC or on PS4 and just PlayStation in general because obviously I've played those games since I was a kid on there. But playing on PC has definitely been a lot better. I played the opening mission on the campaign. That was really, really good. I was surprised. Just, I always think the COD campaigns are kind of underrated, to be honest. They're always definitely like a good time. And then in terms of the multiplayer, because I haven't played the zombies, the multiplayer is really fun. It does feel like classic, just, Call of Duty in a way. Still, definitely got to get used to it. I've only played like 2 or 3 hours of it, so I'm still getting used to like what guns are the right ones to use. As Charlie kind of mentioned, there's like 2 guns apparently that are essentially like the meta right now. But besides that, the maps are pretty cool. Still learning them, but it's just very fun to play. Yeah, I'm surprised by how different my experience has been so far compared to the beta because I really didn't like the beta. So yeah, that took up a good majority of my time last weekend, and then besides that, I've still been playing Resident Evil 4 in VR. Not terribly much. I've only probably played like maybe 2 hours since we last talked, but just slowly making more progress on that. I was able to do the lake boss, which is the one with the giant creature, and then El Gigante, the big giant that you also have to fight. I thought those were both pretty easy. I think they're easier than they are in like regular Resident Evil 4 because obviously you can move around and shit. Like that was always the tough part about those bosses is that you had to make a trade off, right? But yeah, it's really fun, especially seeing the scale of things like that. I was joking around with Charlie and I said like I think that actually the scariest thing in VR so far in Resi 4 has been like the wolves, just because obviously they still like play the exact same where they're like running around you. So yeah, that's been like really, really fun. Got Ashley, and then now I think like on chapter 2-3 or something like that. So yeah, I definitely want to play more today. I've just been, out with friends last night, so I wasn't able to play much. And then just midterms and the usual college BS has kind of kept me from playing that at night sometimes. So hopefully I can make some more progress here. And yeah, I say that, but there's also a lot of games coming out this week, which we'll talk about right now. So, Battlefield 2042 early access, as Charlie hinted on. Yeah, that starts up tomorrow for those that I believe buy the gold edition, or is it also the ultimate edition? Is it just the gold
But I think it's both the expensive editions and then like Game Pass get like a 10-hour trial or whatever.
on PC?
I think it might. Yeah, I think it's on PC as well because it's
Oh,
like EA
sure.
Play, right? So
Okay, sweet. I'll definitely try it out and give that a go. So yeah, that's out tomorrow for early access. SMT5, a game I've been waiting years for, finally is going to be coming out tomorrow on Nintendo Switch. Kind of a really bad time, to be honest, because I'm like currently downloading the GTA trilogy. And obviously I'm still playing like for so many games. I still got to go back to Guardians. It's just I literally haven't had much time to play. But yeah, it's just going to be chaotic. I definitely want to prioritize SMT5 because obviously I've been waiting, years for this game. But yeah, I can't wait to play that tomorrow. Got my collector's edition coming in. And then, yeah, as I said earlier, GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition is out today on, a bunch of consoles. I think it's on like PS5, PS4, Xbox, PC. I'm not sure about Switch. I think Switch might be coming later. Is Switch out
I
for the
think
GTA
Switch is out
Trilogy?
now, right? Or might be
Okay.
coming out when the physical edition comes out. One of
Yeah,
the two.
it's one of those two. Actually, it looks like it is out. Yeah, cool. So it's
Okay.
also day and date, which is really, really cool to see. So yeah, gonna be playing through those. I'm gonna be starting for GTA 3, and then I'll probably go on the Vice City and then San Andreas. And yeah, I don't know. I've been a big fan of the art style and everything I've seen. I haven't really looked at any footage in terms of how it plays or like what they changed. So I'm looking forward to just playing through it. GTA 3 actually I've never played, or Vice City. The only one out of this three that I have touched before is San Andreas, and I never even beat that. I got only like a few hours in, so I'm really looking forward to playing through these games. But I just don't know where I'm going to dedicate my time because I really want to play through these games, but at the same time, SMT5 is out tomorrow, so yeah, a lot of stuff to play. And I guess if you wanted to talk about what you're going to be playing, I know you said that you're going to be picking up Battlefield 2042. Did you want to tell the viewers like if you're planning on picking up GTA Trilogy or anything like that?
Yeah. So SMT, I'm not picking up mainly because I haven't played the games, right? So I'm
Hmm.
not like super excited about it. It's one I'm interested in trying out, much like Nocturne. Um, it will be one of those games I'll pick up like in a slow month next year, probably where there's nothing much out and there's nothing I really want to play. And I'll either get five or Nocturne. Probably Nocturne because that'll be cheaper, I imagine. Plus, you really like Nocturne, but who knows? Maybe you'll end up liking five more. We'll see.
Hmm.
GTA Trilogy, I'm kind of on the fence about. I'm downloading San Andreas right now because it is free on Game Pass on Xbox consoles, not on PC, unfortunately. So I'm gonna give that a go. I'm not gonna fully play through it just because, like you, Brandon, I do want to play them through in order. So I want to like play through GTA 3 first. So I'm probably gonna try it out for an hour or two and then just uninstall it, and then I'm probably gonna pick it up on PS5 once the physical copy comes out. Just because it's one of those games I don't really want to pick up digitally when it's the same price on disc, and I'd much rather have it in a box on my shelf. And it's only like December, right, that it comes out, so it's not too long to wait. There's plenty of other stuff I'm going to be playing anyway. So I am planning to pick it up, just not quite yet.
Nice, nice. Yeah, the GTA Trilogy, that does look like a really good box art. I just can't wait for next month. But yeah, that does look like a really cool case. Anyways, we have quite a few, I say quite a few, but like quite a slow week full of gaming news, actually. Yeah, not that much to talk about really here. So it is going to be a slow podcast this week. But I guess that'll make up for it because I imagine we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff next week and what we've been playing. So yeah, it'll be like a little slow episode. But we'll start off with the Steam Deck. So a little sad news story here is the Steam Deck did actually get pushed back by 2 months. Valve came out with a statement, I believe it's like a few days ago, I think maybe actually yesterday. And essentially they just said that they thought they were going to be able to work around the chip shortages, but it still affected them and how much they're able to produce right now. And they're still currently waiting on that. So right now, the first batches of, what they can expect is no longer going to be coming out in December, but now February. So the very first, people that got their reservation orders and stuff like that, they can now expect it on February instead of December, which does suck. That is a 2 month delay, obviously. Yeah, it does suck. I have been looking forward to the Steam Deck. I've always contemplated whether I want to keep my pre-order or not because it is still very similar to the Switch, but obviously it's more of like a PC, so I'd have like obviously a bigger library to play through, right? I definitely think I'm going to end up sticking with mine just because of how rare it's going to be, and just the fact that I'll be able to play Valve's games alone on handheld would be really, really cool. But yeah, the delay does suck, but there's nothing you can really do about it. This has been a chip shortage that has affected essentially multiple industries. We already saw this with the PS5 and Xbox Series X last year. So it's not that surprising, but still very sad to see. Charlie, what are your thoughts on this? And yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame the delay happened. I mean, I feel like we probably could have seen it coming. Like, obviously, there's been loads of chip shortages recently. I wouldn't be surprised if we see more delays with it as well. I think a lot of the manufacturers are saying that they don't expect these shortages to go away until at least 2023 at the earliest. So I imagine we're going to get more of these delays. It probably won't happen until some of the first batches have gone out, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of those later waves do get pushed back. I think mine currently says Q2
Mine says
2022. So
Q2 as well.
mine got pushed back to sort of like April, I guess, at the earliest, but we'll see. Hopefully they come forward a bit. I was really looking forward to getting mine like late this year, early next year, but obviously that's not happening anymore, which is a shame. Because I am really looking forward to getting my hands on it, but obviously there's nothing you can do about it, so I'll just have to wait a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm. One small news story that also dropped around this is actually that Valve's going to have some sort of like developer event tomorrow for the Steam Deck.
Okay.
It's going to be like a 5-hour virtual conference, which will include like discussions on the hardware of the games and all that. That's essentially for developers. It's going to be like talking about how Linux will, play on it and shit like that. But it is going to be available for the public. So that's tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so like 10 a.m. Pacific.
I do also wonder if because of this delay, they're going to talk about Citadel. Because there's been a lot of leaks recently about Citadel regarding Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Because, like, for people who don't know, Citadel is meant to be, like, the next project Valve are working on. It's kind of like a wave-based, like, tower defense type game where some people can play on PC and some people can play in VR. It seems like from leaks more recently, they're shifting more to the game being designed for Steam Deck than VR, which is interesting. They still don't know which is which, like whether in VR you're like the first person like character shooting stuff or whether you're the like top down person. But I wonder if maybe thanks to these delays, they'll actually maybe talk about Citadel a little bit earlier, like when they start shipping them out and go, hey, like they did with the Index, we're going to give you a free copy of this game when it comes out. Because I wouldn't be surprised if that's what the plan is. It seems like they want to pair software with hardware now, much like Nintendo do. Because there's also been rumors the next like Half-Life VR thing is meant to be paired with their next like wireless headset.
Really?
So yeah, so it seems like Steam Deck is probably going to be tied into this next Valve game somehow. But yeah.
That's exciting. Yeah, I mean, hey, they still didn't they talk about Alex in December or November, so they still could come out with some sort of surprise before the end of the year, but
yeah, I
not
hope
holding
so,
my breath.
But I imagine it's next year. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, did you want to talk about this next news story, Playdate, since I haven't really been following it?
Yeah, it's a pretty small one. Basically, Playdate is like a small little handheld thing that I think it got kickstarted a year or two ago. It's basically just like a little Game Boy type thing that you can basically get these weird little indie games that are specifically designed for it. They ship it out to you and then it patches every week with a new game, which is a pretty interesting idea. They were meant to start shipping them end of this year, but again, for the same issue that Steam Deck is having, chip shortages, they're having to delay their shipments. I have one on pre-order. It was meant to be coming in December, but now they're saying early 2022, so it seems like they're going to give people an update in January, so it's not too much of a delay, and they're kind of having to change how they're rolling out the games for it. Originally, their plan was for everyone to get the games at the same time, but now they're realizing that's not going to work because of all the waves of shipments and stuff, so the season type thing of getting a game each week will just start when you first boot up your Playdate machine. So yeah, I'm excited to get my hands on it, to be honest. It looks like some weird handheld with unique games, which it just reminds me of weird little toy things you would get when you were a kid at McDonald's or something. I don't know. So yeah, I'm interested to see how it turns out, and hopefully I get my hands on it relatively soon, but we'll see.
Yeah. Anyways, another new story comes in the way of Battlefield 2042 again. Yeah, early reviews are still, popping out right now. I've seen a bit of it all, so I know Like I think Polygon said like it's a bit of a step below, but I've seen other ones that are saying it's very positive. What have you been seeing across the board, Charlie, on the game's
Yeah, I
reception?
think I think it's pretty mixed. I think most of the positive reviews seem to be more about Portal, which is
Mm.
the mode that encompasses like 1942, Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, and then the new content all kind of mashed into one where people can make their own modes and stuff. It seems like a lot of people are seeing the potential in that mode. Um, and the content that's on there at day one seems really promising. It also was the last thing they played during like the early previews, so it seems like even DICE know that that's the best bit about the game, right? I've seen kind of mixed stuff about Hazard Zone, which is like the Tarkov type mode. It seems pretty interesting, but at the same time, apparently, sort of like the way that the currency works in that mode is kind of broken, where if you're a really good player, you're constantly going to be able to drop into games with really good guns because you're always going to have loads of money. But if you're not so good at the game, you might end up having to go in with really crap stuff every game because you're just not getting enough funds to actually get good at the game, basically. There also doesn't seem to really be like an end goal to that mode. There's not really something to work towards, which people are a bit confused about. And I think the consensus on that mode is, why is it not free? Like it's just gonna die like Firestorm did. Just because nobody's gonna want to play that over like Tarkov or Hunt Showdown or something. Like those games are just way too popular. So we'll see about that one. And then like All Out Warfare, you know, the normal mode with Conquest and I think it's Breakthrough is the other mode it's called. Seems to be people are saying like the maps are pretty cool and like the player counts are interesting, but like the specialists are kind of weird to work in that kind of mode. And it also feels like it's just the weakest element of the game. I've seen that the maps are meant to be pretty good. The Orbital, the one in the beta, is apparently like the weakest one of the seven,
Oh,
which is
really?
why I'm like really confused why they chose that map in the beta.
Why
I
did
thought
Battlefield
that one
and
looked
COD choose like the worst maps for their betas this year?
yeah, it's really weird. Like it looked really weak from all the trailers. Like it was the one I was least interested in, and it seems like from people playing it, it is the weakest. And I think the biggest problem these maps are going to have is a lot of people saying, unlike older Battlefield maps, there is way too much like open space,
Mm.
where just not much is going on,
We saw that kind of.
which kind of happened in Orbital. But I also think that might wane off as the game kind of moves past its first few weeks, where everyone's like hot dropping right at like the main sites. Um, because I think the problem with like Orbital was everyone was dropping at like the rocket or the big building by the rocket, so everything else nearby was
It's
just didn't
dead.
have that many players at. Whereas I think after people have seen like the Levolution type things on each map, you might see games go a bit more normal and players spread out a bit more. But honestly, I'm more excited for Portal. Being able to play like 128 players on like Caspian border and stuff is going to be really cool. As far as I've seen, you can also put like 128 players on smaller versions of like the maps, which are designed for like TDM and things. So you
Oh
could just
god.
have insane player counts on a tiny scale, which sounds really cool. So yeah, that's the one I'm like most excited to try out. But either way, I'm excited to play it. I really enjoy Battlefield. It seems like it's at least going to be somewhat a bit of fun, and hopefully it just gets better over time, right? I think they've delayed like the first season of new content so that they can patch the game even further for the next few months, which I think is the right call if they just want to
Yeah.
make sure that the game's off to a good start. So, yeah, hopefully we'll have both of us will have impressions for next week. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely try out that early access for sure. Anyways, Rainbow Six Extraction looks like it got a price drop for PC and PS5. So for PC, it's going down to $40, and for PS5, it's going down to $50 respectively. It's also worth noting there's a Buddy Pass available, so that your friends can able to try the game for free for 14 days. So I think this is pretty smart. First of all, Rainbow Six Extraction doesn't exactly have like the best press right now. Not many people are looking forward to this game, so I think that's a better move. I still don't think it's going to be like enticing people to pick it up and try it out, right? I know for sure for me, it's like one of those games that I probably won't even try unless it's free or unless it gets like really good reviews. But based on everything we've heard about it so far, it doesn't look that great. It's a good step in the right direction. I think this game, what, Charlie, it's coming out in January still or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's January. I saw in the stuff today.
Yeah, so what do you think's going to happen to this game? What is your thoughts on everything?
I don't know. It just doesn't look like I've played it, right, and I didn't like it. I don't think it looks interesting. I don't see it appealing to like Rainbow Six Siege players. It's just not the kind of thing they're into. I think the price drop is a good start, but I still don't think like I'm still not interested in buying it, right? I wouldn't be surprised if they do some like free weekends straight after it comes out, and I'll probably give it another go then. They sent me a link to sign like an NDA to play they had like another test last weekend. I didn't sign it or take part in it, so like because it was the weekend that COD came out. Like, why would you do that? That's a terrible idea for any like beta test, let alone another FPS game. Like, I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. But yeah, I'm not excited about it. I think the buddy pass is an interesting idea, but like that means one of you's got to buy the game. They've got to take the plunge, buy the game, and then they've got to convince you to download it. And
Yeah.
I don't know if I could even be bothered, to be honest, if one of my mates bought the game to download it. So yeah, I don't know. I'll probably give it a go if it's free, but other than that, I'm really not interested.
Yeah, the only way I'm going to try this game is if it gets like rave reviews or something, but I'm just
Yeah.
not really enticed right now based on everything I've seen. Anyways, we'll move on to surprisingly our last news story, and this has to come with Starfield. So there was like an interview that came out, and they kind of reiterated on the date that they gave, and that it's definitely going to be releasing on November 11th, 2021. Alongside this, they also promised more footage to release in summer 2022, I guess that would be summer 21. I think there's a typo in the dot. Yeah, summer 2021. Wait, no.
I mean, we're in 2021 now.
I think
bro.
you got the date wrong for the release date. It's 11
Oh,
11
okay.
22.
Oh yeah, that's my bad.
Yeah. So I think more footage next summer for 2022 makes sense. Obviously, that's going to be their E3 showing, right? And it's going to be exactly what we got with Fallout 4, probably. You're going to get Todd Howard to come up on the stage, and he's going to give like a big deep dive into Starfield and what they've been working on. And then he'll be like out November 11th, 2022. But that's not a surprise because you guys known that for a year. And then we'll be all happy depending on how the game looks. But yeah, nothing really big there. Did you have anything that you wanted to take away from that?
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of just saying what you expect, right? I mean, it's going to release on the 11th of November for better or worse. Like, I don't know, when was the last time a Bethesda game released in a good state? Like, I don't even know. Like, Skyrim, I remember, was a mess at launch. Fallout 4 was a mess at launch. Fallout 76 was a disaster at launch. So, I don't see this going well on day one. I hope it does, though. The weird thing is with, like, Starfield and most of the other like Xbox things now for me is that I just don't get excited for them because they don't need to convince me to buy the game, because on day one I can just download it, right? Like, they don't have to convince me to spend £50 or whatever because it's on Game Pass. So like I find it kind of hard to get excited for this stuff at events now because I feel like they don't have to do much to excite me. But hey, I mean, I'll give it a go, and I'm interested to see how it is. But I'm honestly not expecting much from it because all I picture it as is like Fallout mixed with No Man's Sky. That's all I see when I saw that first like trailer. So I'm interested in it, but I'm not like excited or anything.
Yeah, I'm not even like really that excited about the game just because I know it's not going to really be for me. I haven't really gotten into like Skyrim or Fallout. I've gotten close to playing through a lot of Skyrim in VR. But, you know, it was hard to set up like the PSVR for that. It's also worth mentioning, I just saw this on Twitter, the Skyrim Anniversary Edition is actually out today as well. So that's like another surprise. I mean, this one's not that big of a deal because it's honestly probably more of a patch for anything.
I did see they added like a new quest line or something.
Oh, really?
Which is kind of
cool.
weird, yeah. But I think that's the biggest thing they added to it.
Yeah, so if you wanted to buy Skyrim for the millionth time, you can do that now on PS5, so knock yourself out. But yeah, that's really it for this week. It's been a very slow news story. We also saw like the Marvel Avengers get the Spider-Man trailer today, so yeah, I thought it looked cool. he did look a little bit stiff in my opinion compared to what we get with Insomniac, but it's hard to like compare anything we see to like Insomniac Spider-Man because like they've knocked it, out of the park, right? But it looks better than I thought. I will say that looks pretty good. What'd you think of the trailer?
Yeah, I thought it looked okay. I mean, I'm gonna be trying it out for like the millionth time of reinstalling Avengers, right?
Oh god.
Like I'll play it. I don't expect it to hold my attention for long, especially because it's not like Hawkeye or Black Panther where there's story missions. From what I can tell, it's just like an opening mission in the open world, and then you unlock him and just grind the same stuff that people have been playing for the past year, just with Spider-Man, because it's like a hero event rather than like a campaign, which makes sense, right? Because it's only on PlayStation, so I imagine they haven't put a ton of time into the story side of things, but I'll give it a go. I really hope that they stick with Avengers, but everything Square kind of said about it in their investor call recently just doesn't give me hope that they're going to stick with it, since they basically blamed all the failure on
On the
Crystal
development.
Dynamics, which I think is a very bold move from the publisher, honestly. Um, but yeah, I know they've said they're planning to still support it for another year, but I don't think that means much. I wouldn't be surprised if they just do some events. I don't see them adding any cool heroes or anything. I hope they do, but I just don't think it's selling the way that Square want it to keep supporting it. Because I think they're relying so much on like those skin sales and stuff, and I just don't see anyone buying that. Like they might pick up the game and play the campaign, but that's about it, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm hopeful for Avengers, but honestly, I think Spider-Man might be their last straw.
I think so too. I think they're not really going to have that many plans for next year, especially
Yeah,
considering everything going on. So at least this looks cool. And hopefully people will enjoy it that are, been playing Avengers, the few that are. So yeah. Anyways, that's it for this week. Yeah, shorter episode this week just because there's not really that much to talk about. Next week, there probably will be a lot because obviously we're going to have thoughts on Battlefield, SMT5, the GTA trilogy. So yeah, look forward to that. And of course, we'll always talk about the gaming news. But yeah, with that being said, we'll see you next week for episode 47. Take care.
see you later.